for this? How many
Uh,
classes?
it's not a class, but the offline class.
Oh,
I
offline class. What is the difference between an offline class?
mm, it has more power
More what?
to enter there.
Okay. So that's why it's tiring. It's you're tired. How about the others? How are you, Junwon?
Mm,
Mm.
not bad,
Not bad?
but yes, today I have 3 class.
Okay. Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So 3 classes yesterday. Now how many classes did you have?
This class is final, my Friday class.
Your Friday class. How about you,
Yeah.
Sola? How are you?
I'm tired
You're tired also. Why?
because a lot of homework.
Okay. So everybody's tired. Do you need a break?
Yes, I want.
So what do you recommend for us to do if you want a break? Let me know. What kind of break do you need? Minsu, I can see you. Where are you? What kind of break do you want? Do you want a class off? What? Let me know.
He chat come again.
What do you want to do if you're tired? Minsu
For me?
is, yeah, all of you. Everybody's complaining that you're busy and tired. So what do you want us to do? Where's Minsu? He disappeared. Wait, let me check. Okay. So what do you want? Tell me. Can give you a break if you need. Come on.
How about short class time?
Sure. How short? No problem. Yeah, that's good. How short? How short do you want?
Maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Okay, we'll see if we can afford to have that. Let's wait for Minsu. Where's Minsu? He said he's coming in again. Okay, let me officially welcome you for this week. Good evening, everyone. We are now on week 13 of our 21st century. A few more weeks, and I think that's just 1 or 2, and we're about to finish this class. Now, one thing that I would like to ask you is, which I also ask my other classes, would you like us to meet for one time, like during your final exam, so that we can see each other? Would you like to have that idea of us meeting in school? Welcome, Insu. So
Sorry.
it's okay. I don't know if you like that idea, but I'm throwing that idea because I want to see you before we end the semester. I want to see you personally. Bless you. I've seen Sumin. Sumin was my former student, but I've never seen the rest of you, like Minchol, Sola, Jinwon, and Minsu. And I would want to see you before we end the semester. If it's okay with you, and yeah, I don't know. Are you all in Daegu?
I live in Busan.
Oh, you live in Busan, so it's
Yes.
impossible for you.
No, it's okay because on Friday I have 2 exams, so I should go Daegu. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a Friday, right? So it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Friday meeting. We'll do it on a Friday, so I can probably what's this? Offer some coffee and some snack for you as a welcome and as a goodbye also, because we're seeing the first time and we're ending the semester. Okay, so since everybody's tired and I think all of you are requesting that we shorten this lesson, I will do that as your request. I have seen your meeting documentation. I have received the document, I've checked it in the folder, and I think you're doing well. And yeah, we're almost there. So just to review what we have finished last week. Last week, we talked about the contents of part 2, wherein we went through communication, collaboration, creativity, innovation, and media literacy, as well as ICT, and what else is the other one? I forgot. Just probably literacy skills. And we talk about self-direction. So we're almost done with part 2. Now, we just have one remaining topic, which is a topic that you're working on, which is part 3. And I know that part 3 is just suggested activities, or I would say strategies that will help you strengthen the group activity, right? So those are different strategies on how to work as a team, how to solve problem. And so, yeah, we're almost finished. And because you're wanting to have like a free day, maybe after I give you a very short discussion, then I'll give it to you. But I have to give you something for next week. Okay, so that's what I will explain before we call off this class. Give me some time to explain it, and after that, I'm gonna give you your break. Okay, so this activity is an application of what you have learned. Okay, what you have learned in part 2. So I want you to fill this up. I want you to work on this for next week, okay? For today, after I explain this, I'm gonna give you your rest, but I want you to work out on this paper together as a group, and this will be your homework for the remaining time. Okay, so as you see here, it's called part 2 skills reflection. And in this reflection, if you will see, there are instructions that you have to follow, like go over the task that you need to work on. I have 4 activities for you down below after I give you this one. I want you to answer each task or question as honestly as you can. Apply the skills that you've learned as you work on this activity, and you're going to present your output as a group. I don't know if you would like to record the presentation or you would like to do a live presentation by next week. Okay, so write your names here, write the student ID numbers here. I don't know who will lead the group, but one has to facilitate the completion of this document. So I want you to practice creativity by thinking of a group name for you. Okay, so think of a group name. Now, I don't know how you will vote, how you will decide for your group name, but your group name should be something unique. That is the application of your creativity. And your project title also, give it a name. I have given you part 3 as a title, right? But don't use part 3 title. Instead, come up with a title. So you have to meet, you have to talk about the project title that you would like to use for the activity that you are presenting on the final exam. Not for this activity, but for the one that you are doing right now that you will present for the final exam. What you have to do is to fill up this different forms. So as I've said, there are 4 tasks, and this 4 task covers the different set of skills introduced in part 2. So if you see here, first task is about critical thinking and problem solving skills, wherein I'm asking you to fill up or provide information on how did you apply or execute critical thinking and problem solving. So what you need to do, that's why I want you to document your meeting. I want you to video record, because you can recall the meetings, we can recall the activities that you have conducted previously, and pull out from there examples of your event or conversations or activities. So how did you apply reasoning effectively? So it need not to be the whole people in a group, but it can be one person applying this skill, reasoning effectively. Another would be the use of systems thinking. What is systems thinking? Systems thinking is thinking of a concept as a whole. Okay, when I say as a whole, like for example, you're given a pizza. When you're given a pizza, you don't eat the pizza as a whole, right? What you usually do is to slice the pizza, get one slice of the pizza, and enjoy eating the pizza one bite at a time. So that is exactly what systems thinking is. You break things down. You break it into the whole into parts so that you can analyze this thing. Okay, then making judgments and decisions. How did you apply this in your activity? And solving problems. For sure, you have issues. You have encountered some issues as you meet, as you talk about the project. So you can maybe cite one or two examples about this. Now, task 2 is about communication and collaboration. So if you will see, what you are doing here is only to look back at the meeting, look back at the planning that you have done or been doing. As I've said, most importantly in what you're doing right now is the process, because the process helps you to learn the skills. So here, for communication and collaboration task, I want you to write how do you write project content. So that means to say, if you divided the work, did you just look at the work, or did you use some other information to support the idea of your work? So writing project content. I think what I have given you are just small pieces of information. You may want to expand that information for other students to understood what you want to say, right? And that's the content of number 1. Number 2 is communicating visual design. What is the visual design? If you will be using animation, if you will be using pictures, if you will be using design, how do you choose the design? If I may give you an example, if you look back at the presentations that I have done, you see that in my presentation, most of the visuals that I have used are very colorful. You remember? I use different colors for text, different fonts for text. I use clear pictures, big ones, and what I usually do if I started from slide 1 until the end of that slide project, it's the same thing. So how do you communicate your visual design? Communicating means how you express. Okay? Number 3, how did you listen and consider each team member's viewpoints? If you have a leader, it doesn't mean that the leader is the only one talking. The leader facilitates, the leader leads, but each team member should be listening and should be pointing out viewpoints. How did you do this? Okay? And number 4, how did you design an effective and engaging presentation? Remember, what I have given you is my material. What I have given you are my ideas together with the ideas of the authors that I used. Now, what I want you to produce is something that is coming from you. Okay? When you do your presentation, it's not me, it's not my presentation, it's your presentation. And therefore, how do you make it sure that the presentation that you're doing is understandable, is comprehensible to the students having the same age as you and maybe coming from different major also? How do you engage them in the presentation? As I have said in my other group, I told them that if you think one word in English or words in English are difficult, how do you let the students understand? One student suggested, how about if we use Korean or Hangul, like the translation? That would be a good idea. So I'm just letting you know that all these things are possible. Okay? How did you get the information for your materials? Did you just use what I have given you, or did you do some searching? What I have given you is only a sample. What I want to tell you is you are free to use other information. You may search the internet. That's why we're practicing literacy, technical literacy, or technological literacy, or digital literacy, because I want you to get materials from other sources. Do not just rely on something that I have given you. You can do more, okay? And then how did you, or what communication tools did you use? If you're asking me what's communication tool, go back to part 2. And once you go back to part 2, you will understand what are communication tools, because those are defined in your part 2 content. Okay, task 3. Task 3 is about creativity and innovation. So in here, the questions are related to creativity and innovation, like how did you question each other? Remember that we said that if you want to be creative, you have to throw a lot of questions, not only to the group members, but you ask yourself, is this my best? Is this the best presentation that I'm going to do? Is this the best representation of the topic that I want to share? So questioning ideas, questioning project, questioning the planning that you're doing. How did you do that? And sometimes, and most often, your group, you don't have the same level. You don't have the same ability. Some are talented in different, you are all talented in different ways. You're not one and the same, even though you're all Korean. So sometimes there are people who are boring. Sometimes there are people who says a lot of things, but nonsense. How did you develop that patience? Or maybe not the people that are working with you, but probably the sourcing of information, the researching of information. How did you develop that patience? Okay. Then third, openness to fresh ideas. So as I said, you don't need to divide the work for Kevin, for Minsu, for Sola, for Jinwon, for Sumin. No, you have to talk it out together, because talking it out together would mean you are brainstorming. How best can I express this part? How best can I interpret the message here? So you listen to people. Maybe you don't only ask questions from the people who are in the group, but probably you ask also questions from your friends or from other people. Opinion. So listen to this, to what they say, because what they say may be something that will help you create, that will help you innovate. Okay? And also, whenever you work with anybody, like for example, you don't know each other fully well, meaning you came from different major, and also you are in different grade level. So the relationship is not really solid. So how do you develop that high level of trust? I know in the Korean culture you have the sonbae, okay? But the sonbae is simply respecting. But how did you develop that trust to each other? That that person can do the work given to him or her. And number 5, learning from mistakes and failures. I always say that don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail, because when you make mistakes or when you fail, the better you will become, because your practice to become a better version of yourself. Okay? So never mind if you make a mistake. That's okay, as long as you realize you made a mistake and you're willing to start again working on what you need to work for. And the last topic is about information, media, and ICT literacy information. So here, you're going to answer these questions. Still, this is related to the project that you are working on. Where did you get your information? Your information for the content of the project or of the part that you are going to execute. So what are the sources of your information? Now, may I tell you that the strategies or the suggested activities that I have given in part 3 are not the whole of it. Those are just examples. If along the way of your schooling, you have learned from another professor, from another class, other ways of solving things, of developing your critical thinking, I would be very happy to hear it. Include it in your project. Do not limit the contents of the project from the information coming from me. Feel free to add more. Whatever you have experienced before that you think works, include it there. Okay? So, what are the sources of your information? Did you get it from the internet? Did you get it from the book? Did you get it from another person? So, I just want you to think. I just want you to process. That's why I'm asking you these questions. What media resources are you using or used in the preparation of your project? If you're going to ask me, what is media resources? Again, go back to content 2, and then you will see the definition of media resources. What communication product do you intend to use for your project? Again, look at that portion and you will understand communication product. What is your medium for delivering your presentation? When you deliver your presentation, how will you present it? Will you be presenting it like a video? Will you be presenting it like a presentation? So how do you plan to do that? And then how do you understand ethical, legal issues in connection to the access and use of information technologies? There are items online in the World Wide Web that are copyrighted, that are protected. And one example is if you get some images, like there are watermark or there's a watermark in some photos, or sometimes they would say that's under copyright. So what do you do? How do you treat that information? Remember that the internet is free, but there are also items that are not free, that you have to pay for it, that you have to ask permission from people who uploaded it there. So how did you treat this data? So these are the questions that I want you to concentrate on. Actually, what I did with my other class is to meet them and then ask them to meet. But because you are all tired and you just want to get a break, so what I want you to do is to, just listen to the instruction for this and then decide when would you want to meet again as a group. The questions or the activity paper is uploaded on week 13 folder in the Google Drive. So if you want to get that information, pull it out from there and be ready for a presentation next week. Any question?
Can we choose how we present live or record?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Then if we choose record, we can on 26th, how we just meet.
We will meet. We will watch together.
Okay.
And we will watch together.
Okay.
So the good thing with a recorded presentation is if you're not sure of what you're saying, if you have recorded and if it doesn't look good, you can always change and improve. That's a good thing. And yeah, I want to see also how well you present. So I want to see your faces in your project. So of course, what we usually do is we use our voices, right? But I want to see you. Like for example, if you look at the presentations that we have done, like the faces of people are on one side, I want to see the same thing also, because it's a good practice that you can use to, be more confident in the media and to use it right. Okay, so I'm really very excited to see the output of your product, of your presentation. As I've said, if there are things, if there are issues or topic that is not very clear, or topics that you are confused, let me know. How can I help you? Send me a message, send a Kakao message. And it need not to be a group meeting. It can be to one person or to two people. Just let me know, how can I help you? I want to guide you so you can deliver your best for this project. Okay? Any other question? Ask now. And I'm gonna let you go as you requested. I'm easy to deal with. If you just say it straight to me, I'm okay. I can, grant your request. Any other question?
Should we record or make dialogue like today, like last week and this week?
Yeah,
Should we make more?
I'm teaching you how to document things. Like, for example, when you work on a project in the workplace, like when you're already working, there is always something good if you can look back at things that you have talked about. Like, for example, who said this? Who's gonna do this? There's always a recording that you can always look back. Oh, it's Kevin who's in charge of this. Why it did not happen? So there's always a medium or a document that you can always look back if in case something happens along the way. And I'm giving you, and I'm letting you know the beauty of recording. That's why every class that we do, I record it, so that, again, if you do not understand what I'm saying at the moment and you don't have questions right now, but when you meet, you have questions, then you can always look back. And if you find my talking very fast, you can always play back the conversation. So that's the beauty of having it recorded for documentation. And that's how we do things when we work as a team. We always write down, we always do documentation, because there should be a continuity to the project. That's where you take pictures, right? When you go to somewhere, you take pictures. When you eat something, you take picture, because it reminds you. It gives you the memory that you have learned this one, you have eaten this one. So same thing also when you do meetings. Okay? Any other?
I understand.
You understand now the beauty of that. So, no questions? You all look very tired. I don't understand. It's a Friday sickness and it's the end of the semester. Okay, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to let you go. So, negotiate when are you going to meet and work on that project. Again, the form is uploaded on week 13 folder of your Google Drive. Okay? So that's it. You're asking for the rest. So let's make it short today. Thank you all for showing up, and I wish you a restful night and a wonderful weekend. Don't forget the homework. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
you,
Professor.
Professor.